Two more people. So I'm gonna share my screen.
They're gonna start recording in 10 seconds.
Okay. Okay. So we have, as I mentioned before, good morning, everybody. As I mentioned before, we have we moved in the last year in December of 2019. We moved to our new offices. We're located at El Portal, which is just across the street from Bridge 1. And the idea with this is that we can see a little bit more traffic of the people that are coming and going, not only to the bridge, but also to the outlet shops and here in downtown. So I don't know if you can see. Can you all see my screen? Okay, thank you. And so in this, and what I'm gonna share with you is most of the presentation that I did for budget during our budget sessions. So this is something that also council had the opportunity to see last year. So it has our mission, as you know, is to promote Laredo as a travel destination, our influencing travel decisions at a state, national, and international levels, and increasing that awareness to enhance Laredo image. So I already introduced everybody, but just so you have an idea of how we're in years ago. Led by Joel, which is our assistant city manager. City manager. Ya te promoví, Joel. Our assistant director and sales manager, and he has Irma, who's the administrative assistant with sales and services, as I mentioned. As you can see, we had another person under the sales organization. However, due to COVID, the health department was in need of additional people, and our operation, as you mentioned, Gabriel, it decreased because we had to cancel events, we had to postpone events. So we thought the best way of assisting and helping the city was to allow for a couple of people here in our office to be shared with the health department. And so we have two people, one from the sales group and the other one from the services group that went. Good morning, Magali. I just saw that you.
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We have two new members in our advisory committee, Mr. Salo Otero and Mr. Gabriel Castillo. And so we're giving a quick presentation, a quick intro to CVB.
Okay, welcome, Salo and Gabriel.
Amen.
Thank you. So as you see, we have our marketing team, as I mentioned, with our digital marketing, who's Reina, and our giveaways and community relations, who's Beatriz. Anything that has to do with marketing, this is our team. Because we're a small team, we all help each other, but this is our main focus for each group. And then we have services with Vero in the lead. She shares Irma, and we have our messenger runner, Mundo. Again, we moved one person to the health department to assist with contact tracing and other activities. And then we have Casa Laredo Trade and Travel, which is also known as Casa Laredo, and we have Selene and Samuel, who are our representatives over there. To answer one of the questions that how the impact of COVID on the CVB and on the events that we host every year. Here you can see a comparison. In 2019, 2020, we still were able to have some events. So we had 17 conventions and events serviced we had 2,912 room nights. But then we still had to cancel, and this is at the beginning of the pandemic, we had to cancel 8 conventions and sports events. A lot of our conventions happen in April, from April through October. So it was right at that moment when everything closed. A lot of our conventions, April is a very popular month. May, June, July is extremely popular for conventions. August is very popular for sporting events, as well as the fall due to the weather. So we were hit with 8 conventions and events canceled. Some of them were postponed, and you will see them in the different reports from staff, but the majority were canceled. Then we have our sales outreach. We were able to have our sales splits. We traveled to Mexico to do a sales splits. Selene did that one. Monterrey, Mexico City, Querétaro, Toluca, Guadalajara. We had promotional events. We had trade shows. We had a press conference in Monterrey that was very successful. We had our first Cine Minuto. So we had a commercial made for the movie, the cinema movie screen. And so we had our press conference at a movie theater there in Monterrey. VIP, really nice movie theater. So every time we usually in a regular year, we do 2 of these. We have 2 press conferences in Monterrey, one right before Black Friday, one right before Semana Santa. And so the one for Black Friday was the last one that we did. And every time we try to do it, make it different. What we noticed is we were doing our regular event with a lunch and the press conference and everything. And we saw that other destinations were looking into doing the same thing. So we started changing and keeping it different and fresh. So the marketing team here at CVB, together with our agency in Monterrey, ADS Comunicación, have done an amazing job in keeping it different every time. So that was the last one that we did. We had to cancel or postpone 1 sales split, promotional events, another press conference, the one for the spring, and several leisure trade shows and Port Laredo shows. So this is the effect of, and at the beginning of the pandemic, we couldn't do sales calls. That changed with technology, that changed throughout the months. But at the beginning, everything was very close. So we did miss potential visits to travel agents. Talking about trade shows and special events, we were able to do 7 trade shows with anything from leisure, meetings, port. We did in 2019, we were still able to do the Paisano Rest Stop, and Vero was able to conduct the destination training that hopefully when all this ends and we can bring it back, y'all can join us for destination training. It's a tour of the community. Cancel or postpone 8 trade shows. This is only until the end of the fiscal year. So this covers September of 2020. So that's only to at the end of 2020, the new fiscal year. We had to cancel the 2020 edition of the Sister Cities Festival. In 2019, we had reached 25,000 people visiting the event. We've struggled to make it into a virtual event because we want that shopping component, and because all the items come from Mexico, we have been struggling a little bit to get it, but we continue chipping at it, and we're confident that in the next few months we'll be able to launch something that will be not only temporary, but something that will stay as continuous promotion of the event. There is, and Beto will talk about it, there is already an Arts and Culture website for the festival. And so, as I mentioned, destination training is an in-person, is 30 people in a bus, it's walking together, it's going places together, and so due to the pandemic, we had to cancel. Just a little preview of what we have done in the Mexico marketing campaign. So we have 2 different campaigns. We have one for Mexico, one for the US. They're very different because the markets are very different. We have we work with two different agencies, one in Mexico, one in the US. And so the picture on the top, these are 4 billboards that are on the side of the movie theater where we had the press conference. So this is for Black Friday. That's the day of the press conference. We put up the billboards right outside the shopping center. It looked really, really nice. And so we constantly change our look, our campaign in Mexico, depending on the season to keep it fresh. And I'll show you right now what we're doing during the pandemic. So here it is. So at the beginning, we changed really quickly, but because the pandemic happened, it started right before Semana Santa. And so we had to very quickly transition from our Semana Santa campaign into a stay home and enjoy your family message. We're very thankful that our agency is very quick in responding. And so they did a great job in changing all of our media buys to make sure you stay home and enjoy your family. And then after that, we transition into paciencia, pronto nos veremos, patience, we will see each other soon. This is the traffic light is because in Mexico they're measuring it's inspired in how in Mexico they're measuring the situation with the pandemic. So if it's red, it's really bad. If it's orange, it's like we're almost there. Green obviously is open. So we've been working with this one for the last few months, although we did change it for Christmas. And our US campaign, we did a destination rebranding, and so we were able to get a brand new look that I'll show you in a little bit. We have a brand new look. We have a brand new logo. We contracted with an agency out of Utah back in 2019. We wanted the perspective. A lot of people ask why from out of town or out of state. We wanted a very fresh perspective. We wanted somebody that had a lot of experience with the tourism market, but not necessarily that had been doing campaigns in Texas, because we kind of felt that all the campaigns in Texas, we all communicate with each other a lot, and so we felt that they all kind of looked a little bit like the same, and so we wanted a very fresh perspective, and they've been amazing. They came to Laredo to meet with stakeholders with the community back in 2019. Based on that, and in the midst of the pandemic, in August of 2020, we were able to launch our campaign, and since then we've been using it. We've been able to use this brand new look for everything that has to do with the U.S. We wanted to replicate the success that we've been having with our campaigns in Mexico in the U.S. That's the objective. Social media has been really key for us in terms of the connection, especially with the Mexican market. They have responded very, very well. And we've had influencers, we've had still come visit and give their perspective of what's going on here in the community, so that people know once they're ready to travel that we have all the safety measures, that our hotels have the safety measures, that you can have a travel experience that's safe, but it's fun at the same time. And so they do a great job with giveaways and all our online presence. In Mexico, the tone sometimes in social media is a little bit different. There's a lot of memes. There's a lot of people that interact. And what we've seen is people have a very good, a very positive been going on for almost a year. People are still just like the first day, like, I can't wait to go back to Laredo. They're still planning their trip. They're very hopeful that this is gonna end soon in terms of the bridge restrictions. So as I mentioned, our new office, our visitor center at El Portal, We're right next to Bridge One. We're right next to the outlet shops. If you come to visit, you can actually park at the garage, the cover parking of the outlets, and you can visit our shop our office once it opens again to the public. And we have a very nice retail space. We're trying to promote not only souvenirs from Laredo, but also like in case you had only one stop and you still wanted to take something to your family, or you forgot to buy souvenirs for everybody, you can stop here, and we have products from Laredo Heat, from the Birding Festival, from WBCA, from West Cali Heritage, from the Farmers Market, and from our teams from the Max. So we have products from different attractions and partners around the city. So again, in case people come to the visitor center and they didn't have a chance to go to any of those attractions, or they went, but they, for any reason, they were like, oh no, buy later, and they couldn't, they can come here and they can see everything that the different partners have to offer. So this is where we are. This is our office, and this is how it looked right before we started construction. Looks a little bit different now, just a little. But we're very happy to have made the move. It has created a nice space for a nice workspace for the different services, and we're eager to welcome everybody once it's safe and we can officially welcome people into our lobby again. We're eager to show everybody our new office. So I hope I answered most of your questions. If not, let me know. I'll be happy to.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Where do you keep analytics on people, on visitors, and that type of thing? And I'm sure you have something, right, on that?
Yes. So we have different type of analytics. So we have the analytics that are the people that come physically to our visitor center. We have the analytics that of people that request information. So we transitioned into a new system a couple of years ago called IDSS. And so IDSS is a CRM software, web-based. And so that's where we put all the information. So we receive requests from people that want information. They're planning their trip. They want additional information. So we put all that together into the system, and Vero includes that in her, or a portion of it in her report. So you will see in the advisory committee report that there's information on that. Then we have the way that we measure, as you know, we're hotels, we're heads in beds. And so in order to be able to monitor heads in beds, we do purchase a few reports. We have a couple of reports, one that shows us a benchmark snapshot of the market on a monthly basis, and then compared to our key competitors. So we selected 4 or 5 competitors, and we get our a report of each zone of the occupancy, the ADR, which is the average daily rate, and the revenue percentage for those areas compared to our main competitors. So we're talking the McAllens, the South Padre Islands, the Corpus Christi, that sort of thing. So we receive that on a monthly basis. Because it's a purchased product, we don't necessarily have it on our website or anything, but we do receive it and we monitor, and we'll be happy to share it if you want to see a report of that on a monthly basis in your report. The other thing that we receive is we purchase another report, which gives us the quarterly view of the market. And so that access controller's office. And so we get the snapshot of the quarter for each hotel. And that book is basically, and I'm sorry, I have, that report shows you Lorenzo, we have the breakdown per hotel, and then that's compared to, we see all the hotels and all the properties in. So we also, because that's a purchase product,
Yes.
we don't necessarily put it on website or anything, but we'll be happy to create a report where we can show you on a quarterly basis. And they are a little bit different, again, because the sometimes some hotels report snapshot is just to give us an idea of how we're doing. But once we get the quarterly one, then we can see, okay, this is the actual number. So we use those two reports to give us an idea.
That was a very thorough answer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My next question is, as far as the reality is, we're not getting the Mexican clientele that we're used to getting, the Mexican consumer. And the reality is, an entity of the city, I'm not sure if at any point you all can participate in any way to encourage businesses or people to push our government to lift the border restrictions. Is there anything that can be done from your end? I know I'm also working with the chamber and other entities, but from certain things you can't, but
Specifically from CVB, we've been we're part of the push from the city. So the mayor and has been very vocal about the situation, and at one point when the situation was getting better, he was very vocal about talking to the federal government and about lifting the restrictions. However, things have not improved in the last few months. So that has changed a little bit to the situation.
And I know we have hotel motel representation here, and I know that that's one of the areas that's also hurting, and probably some are not because they're utilizing their hotel accommodations for healthcare providers, right, that are coming into the city. But either way, is there anything organization right now? I know there used to be.
I know they've been trying to get together again. And Magali, I don't know if you have any insight on that.
Yes. Well, yes. In fact, we form an
I
association.
can't hear you. I don't know why. Maybe everybody else has to mute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Your sound is very, very low, Magali.
Let me fix my volume here. Okay, can you hear me better? Okay, so yes, in fact, we form an association, but it's been inactive as of right now. We unfortunately, the hotel community in Laredo, there's not a lot of participation, or there's not a lot of desire to engage. So the efforts that we made to get together, the response was from 2-3 hotels, and that's it. We were never able to gather more than 2 meetings. We never had more than 10 hotels participating. We wanna continue with the efforts, and yes, we're gonna push to see if we're able to continue with this association. At the same time, like you mentioned right now, the chamber, well, they recently formed a hospitality committee, so we're gonna see if we can work together, and if not as separate entities. The association has been formed. and it's already there. It's just inactive at the moment. Yeah.
Thank you, Magali. And let me know if we can help you in any way through the chamber or through IBC to push that. We think that that's very important. We see a lot of businesses really failing right now because literally we depended on the Mexican consumer. That's the reality. There's no way we're going to survive without the Mexican consumer. And if they can't cross to do shopping, to do visiting, to stay overnight, this is not going to get better as an economy. You know, we can kid ourselves all we want, but this is not going to get better. If we don't pressure the government to lift these border restrictions, I think it's very important. We see it not only here, but in all the border area. McAllen is and I think we can keep pushing the chamber also to do what they can because businesses, I mean, that's what it's all about, pushing the business sector. And on your end, we need the visitors to come in. I will commend the Instagram and your website. They're very well done. I really like them. Compliments to, I guess, Reina, whoever else does that. I'm not sure who else does that, but Laredo pushing the restaurants. Let's face it, that's what we do here in Laredo. We eat, and so therefore, I think it's important to keep pushing that. And I commend you all for your efforts there because that is very attractive. That's very well done.
Thank you, Gabriel. I work with ADS and IT marketing with two agencies, and I am I'm very picky with all of that, with the photos and information and anything. And I really like Laredo, and I always try the social media like the way I want to see when I visit one city. And we try to do the best as we can. Also, we want to promote with the locals all the information and all that we have, because we have a lot of things to do in Laredo. Thank you, Gabriel.
And we have a lot of locals that follow us, so shifted to make sure that the locals also know what they can do, especially when people feel like I mean, we're all being hunkered down and at home, and so you also want to see, okay, what's there to do, and I know there's great opportunities. I love what the Center for the Arts, for example, is doing in terms of their virtual events. I just love it. Right now, the upcoming Barding Festival is going to be virtual, so there's a lot of things that people can do that can serve as motivators for people to see what we have to offer, and even locally. And then once I tell them I'm very proud of what the team has been doing.
And I think that overall, I think businesses and establishments, the idea that there is such a thing as controlled CDC protocols. In other words, you don't have to shut down. I mean, we did that here at the bank, and it was a task. Restaurants Geo business alive, and some people just can't think outside the box. And I don't know. I've also encouraged the chamber to give by a through it. You know, you're gonna, I understand people being scared and being afraid. I mean, that's understandable. But there are precautions that can be taken and safety measures that can be met to be able to balance that out to survive.
Is leading that part with Reina is the and Vero is the online shopping. We have this gorgeous retail area that was our dream to have a retail space, and then COVID. But we still have a lot of really nice products, a lot of stuff that people can purchase, and so we want to make that available to the public through online shopping. And so we're also trying to see ways where we can go into the virtual world, and I truly believe that this gives people an opportunity to see things that they would never have seen, they would have never experienced. And so we're jumping in that boat. We're part of we need to make that change. And I also truly believe that once we change it, it's always going to be a tool. It's always going to be an addition to our toolbox. This is not something, the virtual element is not something that we're going to turn off once the pandemic ends. It's going to be a really key tool for us to keep the promotion.
Because I will tell you the example that we have. The Center for the Arts had a book signing recently for that book on Cadillac Bar. Mm-hmm. And she wanted to cancel. The author said, no, nobody's going to come, and I'm afraid, I'm 70 years old. And once again, I told her, I said, you can't. This is the only opportunity for you. The book just opened. It's right before Christmas. Well, she came, and I told her, I promise 30 people show up. We did it outside. We had chairs spread out 6 feet apart. And she sold out. We sold out the book, and we had to order another 100 books. So had we not done it, we would have had nothing, and instead we made about $7,000 in profit because we sold the book and we got it wholesale. But that's what I mean. You can't stop life. You have to continue, but just think outside the box and organize yourself and plan ahead so you can do something. But it seems like we panic before we think, what plan B is. But it worked out for us, and we did the same thing with an online tequila. That one we made $50,000. But once again, if we couldn't do it, we always had tequila parties at the center. But now and I didn't think it was going to work out on that. But people want to drink at home too, so it worked out for us.
We're all eager to go back to normal. So we're all eager. I was telling somebody, I've been taking cooking classes from a chef in California. Yeah, now it's online, so we can do everything from home. It's like the best of both worlds. But now we're eager to go back to normal, and we're eager to. I'm sorry, Magali.
Yes. What is the position right now of the Mexican government to is that another problem that we have? I know that in the past they have stopped the efforts to open.
Right now, the situation in Mexico is very difficult. They're I would say, just like here in Laredo, the increase was very, very high. And so Mexico right now, I think they were the first ones to say, no, we're not going to open in January. We're not going to lift the restrictions in January. So I think they're in the same. And Samuel, Selena, I don't know if you want to chime in on that.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like Eileen mentioned, the number increased because 14 days we've been having like more than 1,000 cases, new cases. And just the day before yesterday, they went down to 970 something. And yesterday we reached 800. So And right now, here in Monterrey, everything is closed on Sundays. Like Soriana, Walmart, or H-E-B, everything, even convenience stores like closed on Sundays. Today, they're going to make an announcement, but I think it's going to be to have these numbers have to have today like 700 and 600, 500 to make a change on the restrictions. But things are, I mean, I don't want to say that word, but they are in good here in Monterrey and whole Mexico. It's Ciudad de Mexico. It's I think it's even worse than here in Monterrey. So we're expecting to this increase due to holidays that were because of December to go down for the next couple of weeks, and so we can have an improvement. And the improvement we're expecting is for cases to be decreasing to continue in 800 and 600 and so on. But things are difficult right now here in Monterrey.
And just to give you a little bit more of what's going on, and I have the Mexico City perspective because of my family, but yeah, things are as someone mentioned, very difficult right now. Canada actually canceled their flights to Mexico very recently. So the situation that we see is it doesn't look good for February.
The airline, the flights that were suspended, was that related to COVID or was something completely independent?
Yes. So the reason for the suspension in the flight is because right when President Biden announced that there were going to be additional restrictions as of January 26th, when he announced that there were going to be tests that were required, that wasn't that much of an issue. Idomar was really quick. They posted information of to get the test. They partner with some sites there in Mexico. There's now a test site at the airport, so you can get your test at the airport before you get half an hour before you get on the flight. So that wasn't that much of an issue. But the issue came when the president mentioned that they might be quarantine for people when traveling. That's when not issue detailed information right away. And so what happened is people stopped buying tickets.
Yeah.
And so they were hesitant to travel. I mean, when I say they stopped buying tickets, I don't mean like completely, but we saw a slowdown. And so people were very hesitant. The airlines in general, not only I know, very hesitant to what's going to happen. And so we wanted to give people a chance to figure things out, federal government to figure things out, and for everybody to just see what the next step, if there was going to be a quarantine or not. And so it was the service is coming back, but the idea was to give that opportunity to for everything to be figured out, basically. So yeah, it's just a pause. It was due to response of the federal government in terms of what to do to stop the spread.
Yes, I hope they don't cool off and then decide to pull out of the market. No,
we have meetings with them every 2 weeks. Reina and I participate in those meetings. The airport obviously has meetings with them. marketing side. And so no, we had a meeting with them yesterday. We're still working on promotion. We're still working on getting things. Obviously, there's going to be a little push of promotion once it reopens to make sure people remember that we still have a flight, things like.
Eileen.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
quick question. How closely do you work with the Chamber of Commerce? I know Gabriel mentioned the Chamber and number one. And then I have a couple other questions, but we'll answer that one first.
So we work with them in special projects. We have because they're more focused on here locally on a regular basis. We're more focused towards the outside. Legislative. That's where we partner. In the past, we partnered with them in working for shop local, small businesses. So we
Second question, is this an official meeting? Because we only have 3, right?
we haven't, it's being recorded, but we haven't called it. We were trying, so behind the scenes, Miss, we have 4. So we're just meeting 1. Behind the scenes, okay. Miss Gutierrez was trying to connect. She was having
okay.
She requested to be excused. That just happened a couple seconds ago. We were she has a chance to call the meeting, the no quorum.
Right. And to echo Gabriel's situation with the restaurant, I remember Brian Townsend, right? He said, I have brought people to Laredo from all of the world. To come to Laredo is to eat. And he says some people tweet, not just to eat, but to tweet. Hey, not Applebee's, not the chain restaurants, but to local.
Culinary.
No, I know that, and just to echo, I mean, they come from out of town, and they go to a place like they went to Cosmos one day. This is the best pastrami sandwich I've ever had. And he's from Missouri, and he's traveled all over. He says, this is the best pastrami sandwich I've ever had.
We're very lucky that we have great local chefs.
Yes. And for me, like, Gabriel said, we love to eat. Like Will Rogers would say, I have never met a person I didn't meet. I've never met a meal I didn't like.
True, and culinary has been one of our key elements that we promote, because we know that people love the food, people love they are surprised in food too, because they're expecting something that doesn't feel like real Mexican food. Offerings that the new chefs and the local chefs have, which is amazing. I mean, we're all here are fans of eating, and especially our local restaurants. And so we and especially and it's still during the pandemic. I mean, several of us are frequent Uber Eats and all those services users, because we want to promote and we want to support our local restaurants.
kind of, because I'm going to have to be chiming out at 9:45 because I have another meeting at 10. But I was going to ask you, and this is going to be a very object. A lot, and we all love to give our share of insight. But what do you want from us as advisory board members? I'm really curious to hear what we're supposed to be doing as advisory board members besides telling jokes and funny quips and quotes.
No, one thing that we appreciate and we receive a lot and has been instrumental for us from the committee is that insight. We have our perspective here inside of the CVP, but having the point of view from the private sector, having that point of view from the Center for the Arts, what the Center for the Arts is doing, and how we can help. Your perspective as a community member for us is key because we have a responsibility to bring visitors to the community. Is key. Having the perspective from the hotels for us is also very important. So your point of view is key, and your insight. The area of that you work in is gold for us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
A quick comment before. And you guys were, right on that little corner, right?
Yes.
We parked about 3 blocks away.
Mm-hmm.
So we were walking, and I said to my wife, Joanne, I said, Joanne, look how and we walked around. I'm going to get this off my chest because when Vanessa Perez said, Salo, you want to be, we walked around the St. Augustine Cathedral.
Mm-hmm.
Hombre, if I would have had a trash bag, I would have filled my bag with trash.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, the pee that we have on our, like my good friend Odie would say, the pee that we have on our forehead is not for potassium and for police. It's for clean up our city. The last bus ride that we took was to Houston. Back to convention and visitors. We wanted to bring conventions to La Posada. We wanted to be conventions to downtown. And I said, are we going to take him downtown? To see. They do one heavenly job. I was going to say one hell of a job, but I'm in front of the Last Supper here. I should say a heavenly job. They do a heavenly job, but sometimes, Ave Maria, we as Laredoans can say, mira, look at this. Before COVID, I'd get a trash can and I'd pick up trash and put it in the trash, and and now I don't, but for a lot of reasons. But I said, man, I would love to go downtown with a trash bag and with one of those grabbers, and put it in my trash bag. And it was with a plant on it. The macetas were broken. And I says, don't these people see this? The people in La Posada. I said, if I was Tito Garcia, I would say, oye, like I said, I haven't been downtown in a long time. Downtown, it still looked like that. Because sometimes I say, mira, Joanne, same cash will be there tomorrow. And sometimes our parks and recreation or public works, they have, hey, let's clean up District 6. Let's clean up District 3. By golly, let's clean up Laredo. I went to Corpus Christi for a Boys and Girls Club convention. We walked about 10 blocks from where we were staying to the convention site. I kid you not, Aileen. I kid you not, Aileen. We didn't see one single piece of paper on the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. One single piece of paper. And I said, Joanne, look at this. He says, Salo, you've been here. No, I said, no, I haven't been here picking up these papers. This is the way it is. And it goes back. Remember when the mall was open? Hombre, the Mall del Norte was full of trash. The parking lot, when the outlets were open. Pero ¿verdad? Let's clean up Laredo. Come on, we have to. And Convention and Visitor Bureau. You know, you're talking, Gabriel. You asked the question, what is our role? Conventions. We used to bring Border Olympics. I've been on the, we've been on the Border Olympics board for 40 years. But now, Border Olympics has only one event. Golf. And be at the country club. You know why? The golf tournament, the college golf tournament coaches says the match was in bad shape. Was in very bad shape. So they third one. But golf tournament is the only tournament that's going to be held. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like my mama would say, oh yeah, Junior, but she said in Spanish. Vivir en un chante, pero si está limpio, wow, es mi chante, ¿verdad? Es mi azteca, es mi ladriera, es mi cantarranas. Mm-hmm. And we still I go around the neighborhood when I have a chance. I said, I want to see what's going on by car. And I says, mira, no prendemos, ¿verdad?
No, and we appreciate your comments, and we,
yeah, thank you.
As you know, Joel and prior to that, Monica was also at one point for several years in the Border Olympics committee. So yeah, we received those comments and we were able to share, and we appreciate your comments, and we'll
Amen. Thank you.
We'll be able to share them with our departments in the city. Are you, would you be able to call our meeting? Yes? Okay.
Calling this meeting. Calling the meeting to order. We have the absence of quorum, so I motion to adjourn.
If you can call the date and time, please, and proceed to do a roll call before stating the no quorum.
Okay. So let's see. Marisa, Ms. Marisa,
Yes, we won't be able to excuse any member. She did ask to be excused, but we won't be able to excuse them until next meeting. But Ms. Marisa Ramirez is not present.
is not present. Mr. Rick Laurel,
I see him on the screen.
okay. Ms. Judy Gutierrez,
She also called to be excused. We'll add that to the list for next meeting.
okay. Mr. Carmina,
He's not present.
okay. Gabriel and Salo, they're already signed.
Yes,
So we're calling them. Gabriel Castillo,
He's here.
Salo Otero,
Present.
okay. And then myself, Magali Rodriguez, present. Am I missing anybody?
No.
Okay, so we have not met quorum.
Very good. And the meeting is suspended at 9:39.
39 a.m. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if anybody else has any other questions. If not, we'll meet virtually the first Thursday of every month at 8:30 in the morning. And welcome to our committee.
Amen. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.